Hello friends, let me introduce you to yearly pivots. They are very useful when it comes to trading EURUSD and basically every forex pair because price tends to end, the yearly trends, the yearly moves tend to end at the yearly pivots. In this video I will demonstrate you this fact. I will prove this to you very simply. So we will go year by year in the past and see where a price ended. I plotted also central pivot range, those gray shaded lines, shaded area about the yearly pivot. They are called central pivot range. Concept invented by Mark Fisher, American oil trader, in his book The Logical Trader. Very often price does not quite make to the yearly pivot, but most of times it does make retraces to the central pivot range. Sometimes it happens that price does miss the yearly pivot, as it happened in 2022 last year. It happens during the strong moves, strong years when price is quite volatile. So let's start with 2023. You see, we started at the central pivot range, the yearly pivot, and now we are moving up. You see, we are very close to the median R1. R1 is somewhat higher. R1 is at 116. But we do also watch the median pivots. Those are the median pivots between S1 and the central pivot. So we are very close to the median pivot. Right now we are about 110 pips from the median R1, and I'm pretty sure we will make it there next week. Because today is Friday, market is closing after a few hours, so we pull it back on Friday, as it often happens. Fridays tend to be retracement days, and next week we are likely to see the bullish continuation. Current uptrend since September 2022 in euro is driven by ESB interest rates, by ESB, European Central Bank, hiking interest rates. They started to hike sometime in August last year, and when they started to raise interest rates, euro immediately turned to the upside. We saw the reversal, and still they keep hiking them, and we are likely to make to 116 to yearly R1. It's very common for the price to enter the yearly pivot. That's why I see R1 as very likely target. Let's look in the past. 2022 price ended at S3, as you see here in the bottom, at 0.97. It even poked below S3 220 pips, but it reversed at S3. Very rarely price trends below S3 or R3, even when it comes to daily pivots or weekly pivots. Usually S3 or R3 is the max where the price goes. So it reversed at S3, and we did see also a reaction at yearly S1, the pullback of 239 pips, and then price continued to S2, where it pulled it back 290 pips. Then we also saw reaction at the median S3, pullback of 257 pips, and reversal at the S3. That's where price ended. So 2022 ended at S3. Price did miss the yearly pivot, which was indication of strong volatility year. Then 2021, price didn't miss the pivot. We started at the median R1, and we went all the way to the yearly pivot. 536 pips. Then from this central pivot we went up back to MR1 to the median R1, 540 pips. Price reversed at the median R1, went back to the central pivot, and then we ended the year in January. We hit S1. In January next year we did hit S1. So another proof that price makes to the yearly pivots. Okay, now we come to 2020. Price, where did price end? At yearly R3, traditional year R3. We started at S1. You see we did touch median S2, and then we ended at R3. There was very big reaction at yearly R2, as you see. Price did reverse at yearly R2 was the biggest reaction of the year, the pullback of 300 pips, 305 pips. So, and then also price started at the yearly pivot, you see, and here we saw a bounce above the yearly pivot, and also even reaction here at the yearly median R1 congestion. So price either stalls, pulls backs, or ends, or reverses at the median pivots or yearly pivots. 2019, where did price end? At the yearly S1, you see, slightly push it below it, 42 pips below S1. Otherwise, we saw reversal at the yearly S1. We go next year. 2018, where did price end? Price ended at the central pivot point. You see, this is the central pivot range, concept invented by Mark Fisher, which predicts volatility. The thinner the central pivot range, this gray area, the more volatility to be expected during the year. Here you see a proof to that. You see we had very thin central pivot range in 2020, super thin. You see here it's almost not visible, it's so thin, and that year was indeed very volatile. And this year we also have very thin central pivot range. Here you see yearly central pivot range, which points to the volatility, and the distance between the pivot points, yearly pivot points, is quite big. We have over 1000 pips distance between yearly pivot and R1. So I would expect a reaction here at median R1. We are very close to that. It's almost at 1. It's 111. At 111, almost like 2 pips below 111. That's where we should have a reaction. The first reaction, major reaction, should be expected at the yearly pivots, also median pivots. Here we saw the reversal at the median pivot. You see, here in 2021, price reversed at the median R1 to the pip. So let's go back in the past, further in the past. Here in 2017, price ended at R2 to the pip. Look, to the pip. The yearly top was at R2 in 2017. And we started the median S1. We went to the central pivot point, yearly pivot point. Rejected from there. You see immediate rejection of 300 pips. But then we broke through with a gap here above the central pivot point, and we saw a reaction at yearly R1, immediate bounce of 176 pips. But we ended the year, the yearly top was at yearly R2, 2017. 2016, the top of the year was at median R1. Median R1 was the top of the year in 1st of May. but then we congested around yearly pivot. Congestions along the yearly pivot are quite common, and then we ended the year at median as 1. Let's go further. 2015, where did we end? We ended at yearly as 2, slightly below it. But we saw a reaction at yearly as 1 as well. Then next year, 2014, where did we reverse? At the median R1 was the top, median R1, but we ended the year at S2 and then slided into the new year all the way to S3. Then 2013, the yearly top was at yearly R1, as you see. Yearly R1, twice rejection from that area. Then 2012, the yearly bottom was where? At yearly S1, you see, slightly poked through it. Then returned back to central pivot range. Yearly S1. We missed the yearly pivot, as you see, which was suggesting the volatility. It's very rarely price misses the yearly pivot, but it almost never misses the central pivot range. But we ended 2012 at yearly S1. Another example. Where did we end 2011? EURUSD. Yearly R1, poked above it, but yearly R1 was the top, then we went back to the central pivot. What was the reaction at the median R1? The pullback of 223 pips. Let's go further. 2010. Where did we end the year? At median S2. We started the central pivot point. Median S2 was the bottom of the year. We saw the big reaction at S1, 2 and also at median S1. 2009, we ended the year at the median R1. The top was at median R1. Then 2008, the bottom was at median S2. You see how price congested around median S2, but also at S1 we had the reaction of 475 pips. Let's go further. Where did we end 2007? At median R3, which is quite far away. R3. Median R3 was the top in 2007. We saw reaction at R1, 400 pips reaction. Then we saw reaction also at R2, 200 pips reaction and R2. Next year, 2006, we ended the year at slightly above R1, congested around the median R1, 2. 2005, where did we end the year? We ended the year at median S2. Big reaction at around S1, as you see. 2004, where did we end the year? Median R1, as you see, in December though. Took a whole year to get there. And where did we end in 2003? R2. Look what was the reaction at R2. Price went back to R1. 600 pips. Over 600 pips. And where did we end the year? Almost at R3. Didn't quite make it, but median R3 was the top in 2003. Next year, 2002, we ended the top was precisely to the pip. Look, precisely to the pip at R2. R2 was the top, even the double top was at R2, and then in December we made it to median R3. And then the next year, 2001, we ended at almost at S1. We missed S1 by 43 pips. S1 wasn't quite made. It often happens price misses the yearly pivot S1 over 1 by a few pips. Sometimes it happens, but most of times like it makes it to the yearly pivot precise. Now 2000 and year 2000, you see we started at a central pivot range. We missed the main pivot, yearly pivot, central pivot range. Then we went to S1 reaction. What was the reaction at S1? Look here, these long shadows. Reaction of 438 pips at S1. And where did we end the year? Head and shoulders below S2. Head and shoulders below S2. So you can see from this those examples that yearly tops and bottoms are usually at the yearly pivots. Like here, precisely to the pip, yearly R2. Here again, yearly R2 was the top. Here again, yearly R1 was the top. Here as median S2 was the bottom. And here we saw reaction at R1, the top was at median R3. And so on. Here a median S2, the bottom, median R1, the top, and so on and so on. R1 the top, here a double top at R1, median S1 the bottom in 2012, R1 the top in 2013. As you see, this is very common. So that's why I would expect 2000 in this year. I would expect a reaction at median R1. We are very close to that by now. We are missing by a few pips, so we might touch here, see the reaction, and I expect price to continue to R16. Very likely price, because ESB is going to raise rates again in May. And price can keep trending quite volatile up all the way to R16, but we will see what kind of reaction we will have at median R1. To facilitate your trading, you can also use my FX book outlook indicator, which can be very helpful to, if you know the sentiment. It can help you. It can show you where the price is going. But this is what I wanted to show you. The importance of yearly pivots as reversal levels, or yearly tops and bottoms, as they happen at yearly pivots. All the best to you. I wish success in your trading. God bless.